right away, where we're going to have a familiar face on stream if you're watching the break. Tim Fang Wan is staying in his seat and going up against the resident brewer of the store, Bismon, on a very interesting deck.
Yes. So if you've watched any of our Pioneer streams, you know Bismon is one of the spiciest brewers, and you know, every format he brews. Honestly, he tries to make some sort of mid-range pile of fair stuff work in Modern. It is a blessing to watch. Unfortunately, it's usually not the most well-positioned. However, this time around, he's playing this pretty cool Abzan brew, so green, white, and black, that's playing some very powerful cards. It looks like so far all we have is... Actually, all we have. So far, we have a Nowhere to Run, a Momentum Breaker, and a Scrap Shooter.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the side of Tim Fang, who has already taken 4 damage from that Scrap Shooter all the way down to 16. We see a pair of Enduring Vitalities. One is an enchantment, one is a creature, so that 3/3 Vigilance can just block to its heart's content here. We saw the Momentum Breakers you mentioned from Bismon being able to be the Edict effect on a stick here. And like you said, there's basically like a bunch of decks that have been smashed together into this brute. There are Nurturing Pixies in this list as well, as we can see now a Plains being played here. So Bismon has some bounce, has some grind, has a little bit of Gearhulk shine to it, and is currently looking pretty solid with all these things on the battlefield.
Yeah, and I think for the record, we are currently at 3 speed. I don't know how much it matters if Bismon's ever going to sacrifice the Momentum Breaker, but, you know, that is currently a game state that exists.
I was going to say, the Momentum Breaker having start your engines is always very strange, since it's just like an edict on a stick, and that's what people use it for. But you can just gain life if you need
for
to.
life. It's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, we are seeing what we ended up dubbing as the namesake of the deck, Gearhulk. So this Brightglass Gearhulk has kind of been the big splash coming into all of the Cage decks, whether it's Selesnya or Bant. And Bismon's just saying, screw it, let's play some of the Golgari cards as well and play a little more of a grindy mid-range plan as opposed to this really explosive go-wide plan. And we're just grabbing a pair of Pixies here to just start bouncing and gaining a ton of value.
Yeah, the one thing that Bismon's deck doesn't have is blue, unfortunately, which means there's no Mockingbird shenanigans to copy Gearhulk, ad nauseum kind of deal. Instead, just going for these Nurturing Pixies, so you can just kind of continue to remove everything from Tim Fang's side, which is not the worst thing to do when the Otter deck does kind of have to deploy things 1 or 2 at a time.
In particular, when the Otter deck is just like holding up mana and passing, I'm assuming we have a Floodcaller in hand, and I think I saw one. But that's going to take probably take up most of Ting's turn coming up, being able to play that on end step and then hopefully trying to go off on the following turn.
Yeah, so having the instant speed capabilities from Tim Fang's deck is going to be something that Bismon has to keep on his radar, but we are just going to having Pixie bounce that Nowhere to Run, and we still have 8 damage that can smash through here.
Yeah, this is actually, this is a pretty good heads-up play from Bismon, just trying to hold on to it, knowing that we can hopefully snipe a, because we already have 2 Vitalities in play, like we're not turning that off. Hopefully we can snipe a Floodcaller, though, to make sure that we don't have to worry about the combo.
Not to mention that Brightglass Gearhulk with First Strike and Trample is going to be problematic, because if you throw that 3/3 in front of it and you get Nowhere to Run, you're still taking the full damage. You're just losing your 3/3.
Yeah, and we are at 4, and Bismon has decided to just present a lethal board in the air with 2 Pixies that got some counters, and we have the Gearhulk and the Nowhere to Run in hand. So a couple of good ways to refuel. That Valley Floodcaller did come in right on cue, and let's see if Ting is able to do anything here. I'm assuming this is going to be where Bismon decides to eat the Valley Floodcaller, since, you know, we're going to be able... I mean, we'll still be able to do so before Ting untaps, if he chooses to do so.
So if Bismon acts first here, though, Ting can torch the tower in response by tapping the Enduring Vitality from mana at this point. So if the Valley Floodcaller being a 3/3 here, that's a little problematic. You can kill the Enduring Vitality if you want to.
Well, no, because the Floodcaller is a 2/2, and now it got boosted to a 3/3, so there isn't the Nowhere to Run is able to hit the 3.
Okay, he's doing it on Tim Fang's turn. Yeah, I was saying at the end of Bismon's turn, you can't, because it's already got the quote-unquote prowess trigger off of the Questing Druid Seek the Beast. All right, so we are just going to have the Torch Tower get rid of the Nurturing Pixie, so that gets rid of the lethal air bombardment. And looks like Valley Floodcaller is still alive.
Yes, so we are resolving the scry off of the
The torch to tower.
off of the torch first, and I'm assuming Ting's gonna hopefully have some sort of answer in hand as well, whether it's an opt or some other spell that he can cast to get him out of trouble here.
Puts that in graveyard, and still thinking about this Valley Floodcaller.
He does have the Floodcaller that can just tap for mana, which is really nice, and it looks like we are doing so right now, so this should get us out of range. Oh, even better. Splash Portal just coming in and being able to bounce it completely out of danger. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to continue tapping it this turn, but it keeps it really safe and gives us an additional card.
Oh, we still can because it untaps itself. So we're actually bouncing the Enduring Vitality that we had as an enchantment instead. So we're bouncing.
That's good.
Or I guess we're bouncing the other Enduring Vitality because it has to be creature that you bounce with the Splash Portal, right?
Yes. So I believe if we are bouncing the Enduring Vitality, we use the enchantment one as bargain fuel.
Yeah, that's what wound up happening. Okay. So we wound up doing that. So then this Valley Floodcaller, it's a 1/1 this turn. So it won't be killing somebody outright without a little bit of help at this point. It does look like Bismon wound up taking some damage at one point as well. It just did not reflect that currently. Probably from his lands or something.
Yeah, the mana base is, you can play a lot of colors in Standard. You just have to be okay with taking a reasonable amount of damage from the Pain lands. Because, yeah, the mana is actually insanely good right now.
All right, so just playing out the Questing Druid as a blocker and then passing the turn. Bismon just going to go straight to combat, Nurturing Pixies, at least 2 in the air.
Yeah, and it looks like we are going to be able to trade with the Scrap Shooter, play another Valley Floodcaller. It looks like it was the Valley Floodcaller that we
Damage? Yeah. Choose one.
So you bounce the Valley Floodcaller. We have an additional Valley Floodcaller as well.
Yeah, am I dead?
And then a quick little jump with the camera, and Brightglass Gearhulk comes right back.
Oh, is this just going to find a Hopeless Nightmare? Yeah. Oh, no. Bismon still had him dead multiple different ways here. Ting does not have the interaction to deal with a Hopeless Nightmare, which is right there. And Bismon's going to take game number 1 with a very interesting deck here from that Abzan deck. It felt like it wasn't like straight toolboxy. It wasn't straight mid-range, but it felt like I mean, I'm waiting for Siege Rhino. Like, where's the Siege Rhino coming out of that deck?
I very much have a feeling that baby Rhino is going to be thrown in this deck when it gets printed. Yeah, because I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to bounce a creature that's gonna basically drain your opponent for 2 on enters.
Oh no!
You know, pretty reasonably, especially when it's got a reasonable body that you're gonna get in with trample damage and then just reset it, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, we see just kind of on the small camera on the bottom of your screen here as the players are sideboarding. Bismon already just kind of putting 5 or 6 cards face down, so Bismon knows what he's gonna be putting in this matchup. And as you mentioned, we kind of have like a culture of players that are not only playing Standard here this evening, but are playing multiple formats against one another as well. So Bismon coming into this one probably had Otters as a matchup in mind, not just for Ting Feng in and of himself, but for the multiple Otters players that we had previously just like a couple of weeks ago at Standard.
Honestly, I remember back in December, we had like 5 or 6 Otters players, and we even had folks playing Otters before it kind of like really popped off at the Pro Tour at the end, or the Worlds last year. Yeah, at Worlds last year, we had some folks on Otters like right as Bloomborough came out, and and then as soon as Vitality was printed, they were already trying to figure out this engine that Sanctum Ball was able to really be able to piece together.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Ting Feng has kind of been a player that takes an archetype or finds the archetype that he enjoys that can also attack the meta from a certain point of view and then iterate on it a little bit. Like you mentioned already, this copy of Splash Portal that we saw in game number 1, Otter's lists don't have that as like a stock card in the main deck, let alone the sideboard.
No. Yeah, it's a really good include. It's able to save your creatures. It gives you an additional card with its enters trigger. Another one that I remember we were chatting about over the weekend was he was trying a what is it, the Volcanic Spite, to be able to just cycle a dead card to the bottom and grab a new card. The 3 damage is a very relevant number in the current format. Sometimes you hit a battle. I don't know why you would in this deck.
You have battles of your own, right?
Yeah.
You have a room.
I mean, we were on Invasion of Ixalan for a bit.
Oh, okay. So you had that potentially there. I mean, I know you have like the, what is it, the steam room and
Steaming Sauna.
steaming sauna.
Yeah.
Like you have that as like a removal spell you could put in, maybe actually coming in this matchup, considering just the amount of creatures that Bismon was presenting in that game, and now knowing that the Brightglass Gearhulk is in the mix as well. I'm not sure if Tim Feng is running anything like a Braid or anything like that, but having just a 2-mana destroy artifact spell, in addition to being able to snipe off, like you said, so many 3 toughness threats, probably would be something you would put in your deck if you had it.
Yeah. And I wonder if Ting is still on his signature Aegis Turtles in the sideboard, or maybe if he's upgraded to what's the name of that new legend that's got like it's
like 7 toughness or something.
I think it's 8 because it's an octopus, right?
Goodness. This is gonna make me go through. It was in the most recent set, right?
It was the vanilla legend.
Oh yeah, it's Kalorna Coral Tyrant. Yeah, 0/8, but it's 2 mana, not 1 mana. That might be one too many for Ting.
Yeah, I was about to say it might be a little expensive for what Ting's looking for. I know that he swears by this card because it's, in particular, it is the perfect blocker for Screaming Nemesis, which is a card that he has had a lot of trouble with. And again, one of those bits of iteration that Ting, as a very intelligent brewer and player, is going to be able to refine over time and find these cards that work well for him and his playstyle.
At this point, you just kind of need to have like, what was the... I always say Archimedes, which is not the correct name for the dragon, but you just need to have like your Doran, the Siege Tower, as your follow-up to your Aegis Turtle and your Octopus, and just start beating people down that way.
No red cards, every other color.
Red cards, yeah. The problem is, though, is that Aegis Turtle and Corlena being non-rats, otters, birds, or whatever the last one, frogs, means that you're not going to pump them up with a Valley Floodcaller, so they actually can't play offense the way like there was the way that like Spike Feeder could in those combo decks by getting counters from like an angel and then going off that way. Instead, we're just going to have Thunder Trap Trainer finding this town ain't big enough, and that is a scary proposition.
Yeah, but we already have a Momentum Breaker coming through, taking out the creature. We did remember the speed.
Let's go.
I don't think we need to worry about it for the life gain, and I don't know if there's any other speed cards, but at least we have it this time.
I just want to be able to make the sound effect when we hit max speed. Like playing on Arena, having like that thing go like every, like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's particularly funny in Limited when you're both drafting and both you have speed going, and it's like every turn it's just like revving up. It's wild.
You're like playing Cruise in USA while also playing Arena at the same exact time. But Ting did wind up just casting a Seek the Beast here, finds an Opt, looks like cast that one, and then that Valley Floodcaller coming off of the Adventure Zone as well. But there is a no order one to respond from Bismon, so Bismon's just playing Answers.deck at this point.
Yeah, I mean, what black midrange deck doesn't want to be doing so, right?
That's true. I mean, this is very appealing to me right now. Like I'm on Bismon's side of the room here. I'm playing all these black colored threads, and then I have green, white Gearhulk in my hands.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Green, white Gearhulk from hands.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. I wonder what he's going to be getting this time, because our opponent does have a grip full of cards. I wouldn't be surprised to see at least 1 Pixie. I don't know if we're going to be getting 2 like last time. There could also be some other interesting one-ofs. I think because we do have the list accessible. Thank you, Bismon, for sending it over. We have some fun ones like, I don't think Grimbauble is a good answer here, but we could also be getting like Dusk Rose Reliquary. We also have like Haywire Might in the board.
Ghost Vacuum is also something you can wind up hitting. And a couple extra copies of Hopeless Nightmare that wind up coming in from the sideboard as well.
Yeah. And, can't complain about, just being able to find all of your best 1-drops. And it looks like we are... Oh, it is a Ghost Vacuum. Very, very, very good choice here. Being able to get rid of towns when they get cast, prevent any of those loops, as well as, maybe you become the Otter deck at some point. Who knows?
Maybe. And we do have the Roaring Furnace Steaming Sauna coming down as well, so that's just going to eliminate the Gearhulk here by dealing damage equal number of cards that Ting Feng has in hand, which is, I believe, more than 4.
Yeah, I believe it is more than 4. Plenty of power to be able to punch through that very big Gearhulk. And, you know, the other side, the Steaming Sauna is a very good grind piece, which is going to come in real handy here. Because this is going to be a long game with a bunch of removal, and if Ting's going to want to be able to actually close the game, he's going to need to draw a lot of cards.
Ting Feng also right now on the angle that has, all right, I'm going to be going for some combat. I have this questing druid. It's going to start getting some counters, the more spells that I cast, but Bismon playing like the removal deck is never going to be a great thing for that. Oh, okay, Reclamation Sage just coming in and taking out the room in and of
that's
itself.
the format?
Yeah, Reclamation Sage is in the format.
Foundations?
I believe so.
Man, so many cards that we don't realize were printed in that set. There were. I'm assuming it was just like randomly in like the starter kit or something, and Bisp making good use of it.
Yeah, and then picks it back up with the Nurturing Pixie. So saying like, hey, I don't want that. Oh, there's the Aegis Turtle.
Called it.
All right, so Stonewall is there. However, there is a flying threat on Bismon's side of the battlefield, but that Aegis Turtle is going to be pulling double duty. If Bismon is going to be like trying to blink that Momentum Breaker, you're just going to sack a 0/5.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a better thing to do. It also conveniently blocks a 4/4 first strike trample very effectively.
Yeah, it definitely does. It gets rid of any damage coming from that Brightglass Gearhulk, as this Torch the Tower is going to eliminate the threat in the sky. And the first damage of the game after, was it turn 6, is going to be dealt here, as Bismon takes 4 from this questing druid that's been pumped up this entire time. We have the Ghost Vacuum looking like it was exiling the room here, so that Roaring Furnace is not going to be, I don't think he'd really bring it back from Tim Fang's side anyway, but it's gone, it's out of there. And Bismon now untapping with a grip full of cards. One of them we know is going to wind up being, what was the other card he found? It was, I'm sorry, the Ghost Vacuum's already in play, the Nurturing Pixie's dead, so actually we don't know any of the cards in Bismon's hand.
So I wanna call attention to this Ghost Vacuum choice. Yes, typically like the cards are gonna be recurring back from the graveyard are gonna be instants and sorceries, so you think Torch and Opt are probably your first hits here, or maybe the creatures. But very smartly, Bismon ends up choosing the Roaring Furnace Steaming Sauna because we know Ting Fang is an Analyze the Pollen deck. That's going to be 7 out of the 8 evidence you need to collect. Being able to get that out of the graveyard right now means it's going to take a lot more time for Ting Fang to be able to get up to that threshold to be able to tutor for one of his combo creatures. So honestly, like, again, props to Bismon. This is a really cool heads-up play, really smart. And, I mean, after this, now you're probably going after this.
Sure.
All right, so Bismon doing a little bit of shortcutting. He's like, I'm going to wind up cracking this Fabled Passage anyway, so I'm just going to play the Gearhulk out of hand again and then just wind up searching for everything at the same time.
That's his second Gearhulk, because the first one died.
All right, so Gearhulk.
Swamp has been acquired.
Is this going to be Hopeless Nightmare? Hopeless Nightmare? Just try to get Tim Fang down to 1 card in hand?
That could be something. It could also be a Pixie plus something else.
A Pixie and a Hopeless Nightmare. Why not do both?
Yeah, Porque and a little toast, right?
Yeah, why not? All right. Oh, this is the fun one. This is the fun part we have. Yeah.
Ting's gonna take a read. We're gonna also take a read for you because when we saw this in the list, we were like, "What the heck is this card?" It's honestly a pretty cool engine piece, and it is a repeatable bounce effect that you get in white.
Yes.
Want to explain this meticulous excavation to us?
Yeah, this is an enchantment of itself. It just comes down for 1 white mana. It doesn't do anything, but you can wind up activating it for 3, bounce something to your hand. If it had Unearth, because this is from Brothers War, so Unearth was like a keyword in that set, it gets exiled anyway. You can only do this during your turn, but this is basically just a repeatable Pixie effect for 3 mana, so you can just continuously bounce your Hopeless Nightmare. For every 4 mana that you have, it's 2 damage. A removal spell if you bounce like a Nowhere to Run for every 5 mana that you have. This is basically like, this town ain't big enough for non-blue decks, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I particularly like about it in this shell specifically is it's a grind shell. You're going to be going really, really long, so the 3 mana isn't going to matter that much in the grand scheme of things. Your primary card advantage does come from the Gearhulk. So outside of that, I don't know if there's a lot of ways to get additional cards in hand outside of, Pixie Bounce as well. So just being able to find a way to, effectively draw cards by rebuying a bunch of permanents is a really good place to be. And as you said, we do have the Aegis Turtle insulating the Questing Druid from the Momentum Breaker.
Yeah, but if Bismon just goes like land, bounce the Momentum Breaker, get rid of the Questing Druid, that's pretty powerful. powerful. We saw Ting swinging for 4 again last turn. Bizon not blocking, so he can swing for his own for 6 this turn. It looks like, oh, sorry, the Meticulous Excavation is still in hand. It was still found, it was not played yet, so we can't actually play that, play a land, and have enough to bounce. Instead, we're just going to Nurturing Pixie, bounce the Momentum Breaker instead.
Yeah, never didn't have it, right? Okay, that was funny. He was like, I want to put the counter on this this permanent that I put back in hand. And it looks like we are going to be casting Town on the Druid and the Ghost Vacuum.
All right, so those are gone. Those are just gone for forever now. Ghost Vacuum's not going to be able to bring those back if Bizmon plays it again.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a nice card advantage piece because now we're going to be able to recast Questing Druid. I don't... Torch is solid here. We're going to be able to kill one of the Pixies. Yep, there we go. And that was actually really efficient use of mana there from Ting.
Yeah, Ting actually looking like he was on the back foot with that one, but instead just winds up getting a quick 2 spells to restock the hand, gets something out of Bizmon's side as well, and now just going to be able to replay this Questing Druid as a 1/1. It's going to have to climb back up its own ladder, but it's still alive, and we have a Thunder Trap Trainer to try to help it.
Which, this one comes with a cute little buddy. This one is going to be Offspring, so we are going to be getting double Thunder Trap Trainer triggers here. Hopefully this will find, at least one of them hopefully finds a Valley Floodcaller, and the other one finds a powerful spell. Splash Portal's a pretty solid one, though. Hopefully get another Thunder Trap Trainer trigger in the future. Try saying that 3 times fast. Thunder Trap Trainer trigger
in the future. Yeah, easy. I mean, if we had cute animals, tongue twisters, and nursery rhymes have to go alongside it, right?
Yep.
Like, that's just very thematic for the set. But we are going to wind up getting a Get Out.
That's pretty solid. We're going to be able to rebuy some creatures or hopefully enchantments in the future.
Yeah, so we also have this potentially to counter an additional Gearhulk or Pixie from the side of Bizmon's side, because you can counter creature or enchantment spells as well. Otherwise, you treat this as another version of this town in Big Enough.
That can only really, you know, bounce your own stuff.
Yeah.
But often that's perfectly.
That's what you want to do. I mean, if you do that with a Stormchaser's talent, you have that Valley Floodcaller in play. You wind up getting at least 2 triggers off of that, maybe one additional one if you're bouncing something else as well. But Bizmon getting aggressive here, swings him for 6 again. Vroom vroom up to 3 speed.
And we are down to 8 on Ting Feng Wang's side. Bizmon's still at a reasonably healthy 12, but there, you know, a couple creatures in play. Ting Feng's got a reasonable hand with some gas, so we can assume that it's going to be, it really is going to be one of those grindy, like, peck at you kind of matchups where it's going to be bits of damage here and there, get it in whenever you can, and hopefully be able to close out the game before your opponent.
Bizmon has a tough choice here because this Momentum Breaker gets less and less effective with the more Offspring tokens that wind up being played here from Ting's side. So if you have this Meticulous Excavation you got off your Gearhulk, if you play that, the only thing you really can bounce for profit at this point is that Nowhere to Run. Try to get rid of the Questing Druid, potentially.
I mean,
but
why
then
not bounce the Gearhulk?
It's
a lot of mana, but again, when that ends up happening.
Ooh, Duskrow's Reliquary is going to be a powerful spell here, though, because that's going to be able to get rid of one of these otters that winds up getting pumped up by the Valley Floodcaller.
Yeah, I could also see possibly, getting rid of the trainer here. There could have been an argument for the Druid because it does grow on its own, and, you know, it's its own threat.
Ooh.
But, yeah, putting the trainer underneath means you can't Splash Portal it, and Thrun, the Golgari All-Star that's made it a relevant deck again, is, you know, coming in here.
Breaking some silence. We had Bizmon sacrificing the Pixie in order to cast that Reliquary as well, but then Thrun coming down here, basically being a 5/5 trampler that can't be targeted by this town ain't big enough is pretty good.
I mean, it can't be targeted by anything in Ting's deck, and it can't die in combat, and I don't think Bizmon's going to put it in a situation where it's going to die from blocking.
All right, but this is now Ting potentially trying to pop off here. We have the Enduring Vitality. Has a This Town Ain't Big Enough. Doesn't know what he wants to target with it. Can't target the Thrun. Maybe target the Ghost Vacuum. Bounce your own Questing Druid.
Yeah, this is I mean, you have to pay some additional mana to be able to target the Duskrow's Reliquary, which it looks like that is what we are doing here.
Yeah, because Duskrow's Reliquary does have Ward 2.
Yeah, but honestly, perfectly reasonable. We're going to get another Thunder Trap Trainer trigger, and we're going to see just what other spicy things we can get in particular. Another town, not too bad.
Well, if the first town wasn't big enough, the second town, still not big enough.
Oh, and we have enough to analyze. See? No, unfortunately, that Ghost Vacuum was not going to be able to do enough because we have... What's nice now, yep, we're doing this before there is any priority passing back to Bismon once the Analyze is shown, so that way we can go straight to grab our Valley Floodcaller and present the combo next turn.
All right, so analyze the pollen, finding Valley Floodcaller, like you mentioned. The thing's taking a quick look here, so maybe, no, okay, there's a Valley Floodcaller. So it finds that one, has it in hand, can play it at the end step from Bismon's side with that Enduring Vitality in play, and that Thundertrap Trainer token was available to be tapped. The problem is, though, is that we have we have 5 toughness on the top of the screen, 2 toughness on the bottom of the screen, and right now 9 coming across from Bismon. So a singleton removal spell could just kill Ting.
Yeah, there's a lot that can happen here, and it looks like we're trying to figure out what to exile. Probably, I could see either, Opt, got it, cool.
Just something.
Yeah, just something, get it out of there. Instant or sorcery at this point, because there is no more big mana value things to exile. And, yeah, wonder what we're going to get here. I mean, the nice thing on Bismon's side is you have trample, so size does not matter in this case.
No, not really. Oh, Reclamation Sage. We had bounced that one to hand, so that can take out the Enduring Vitality. Do we have enough mana to bounce in something else? But
ooh, Get Out is going to be cast countering the creature, so no enters trigger. Just going to make sure it's nice and clean. Keep our artifact and enchantment safe.
all right, so we have our Dusk Rose Reliquary from Bismon's side. We have to get rid of a creature or artifact to use that, though. So the only thing we really have is Ghost Vacuum, unless we want to get rid of one of our damage dealers. We probably don't want to do that. And then whatever that mystery card is in hand can't be a removal spell because that would win Bismon the game at this point.
I wonder what it could be. Maybe another Pixie. Maybe it's like the 3rd Gearhulk and a little expensive to cast. We do see 4 mana still up, so that does represent playing out the playing out the excavation and also holding up being able to activate once on this turn as well if we want to bounce Gearhulk to get more activations. But, we are sacrificing the Ghost Vacuum. Just get the Get Out. Get Out has been got out, and now we are exiling the Floodcaller.
All right, so Ting has to block here. It takes 7 down to 1.
This is a rough spot to be in from Ting's perspective, because this deck has truly just ground you into the dust, and now you're on your single last bit of life. No more combo being enabled unless we have another Vitality in hand, but all of our stuff isn't going to have haste, so we would need it like Song of Totemtons and a whole bunch of other pieces. We have cards, but I don't think we have all of those pieces.
And just to kind of hammer home the grindy point, this one followed up with a Preacher's the Schism, like a mid-range grind card.
Yep.
Looks like on Ting Fang's side we have Aegis Turtle, we have Questing Druid, we have Valley Floodcaller, and Splash Portal. That's what we're working with.
And an Aegis Turtle, which is a blocker that prevents damage from both of these creatures.
But only one of them.
It can block Thrun for a single turn.
Yeah, okay, so from Tim Fang's side, we have Aegis Turtle, we have Valley Floodcaller, we have Questing Druid, and we have Splash Portal. Valley Floodcaller means that we can cast both Seek the Beast and Splash Portal at instant speed. It'll pump up the Floodcaller and the Otter by 2 at that point, which means the Otter can block the Gearhulk, the Turtle can block the Thrun, and then just hope that Bismon forgets that his Excavation can bounce his removal spell.
Yep. I have a feeling that we are going to have a quick and clean close coming on up. Bismon's just trying to navigate the lines and get everything squared away.
Yeah, so, I mean, the thing is, though, we can cast Seek the Beast, and we can find an interactive spell. If we find this town ain't big enough and we bounce the Gearhulk or something, or bounce something that Bismon is going to be doing, that's good enough. That keeps Tim Fang alive.
Yeah.
So Bismon has the win face up on the table, but there are a lot of ifs, the little asterisks behind that.
And it looks like playing this out, and we are going to be bouncing. What are we bouncing here? Momentum Breaker. Gotcha. Okay, so we are. Yeah, here we are going to be forcing a sacrifice, and we're going to Seek the Beast real quick, see if we can find some way to save our dudes.
Thundertrap Trainer, Enduring Vitality. None of those are castable.
The trainer is castable, is it not?
I think you can only flash
You can flash
non-creature
an
spells.
otter.
No, I think the Valley Floodcaller.
Anywho, it looks like
yeah.
while we're arguing about what Valley Floodcaller can and can't do, it looks like Bismon has taken the game. Bismon scoops up his cards because unfortunately the grindy deck is going to grind you down.
Yeah, and that's not entirely how that matchup usually goes either.